Okay, just a recap of how well the iPhone 5S holds up in 2020. As you see here, I have the rose gold version. As you can see the color through the case there. It's kind of a small phone, it fits good inside one hand, which I'm not sure why Apple doesn't make small iPhones anymore. That makes it easy to use with one hand. But yeah, apparently this iPhone 5S is from 2013. It actually works just fine. Got an alarm clock. See, I actually like it because, I can use it easily with one hand. Be able to get to all the places there. I can check email. Of course, I get 57, almost 58,000 emails that I haven't read. But that's because most of them's not important, and of course the same Yahoo account I've been having since early 2006. And yet, so you can even play YouTube. Skyrim. Still is one of the most funniest recent videos here. Turn up the volume.
Let the $1 double stack tacos come with Taco delivery. Fun. And so naturally my first inclination was to play that game on an Apple Watch. If you want to play Skyrim on iOS, you can't do it natively, as in there's no app for it. But luckily, streaming to your iPhone or iPad is super easy. I'm just going to stream off of my Xbox One using an app
Wait a
called
minute.
OneCast, which isn't free.
You can play Skyrim on your Apple Watch? I didn't know that.
Tons of options for streaming without spending money, although not a lot if you are streaming from Xbox. I guess you could stream your Xbox to your Windows computer and then stream your Windows computer to your iPad, but at that point, why not just play off of your Windows computer? I believe you can stream Xbox to Android tablets or phones, so that's pretty cool, but not so much to iOS, except for, of course, with OneCast, which is a third-party app and only works if you're on the same Wi-Fi network as the Xbox One. So it kind of makes it useless, but at the same time, I mean, if someone's using the TV or something to that extent, you can see a use case. Regardless, I already own it, so we're good to go. Because the Xbox is close by, we can just use the Xbox controller connected to the Xbox. We don't have to bother connecting it to the iPad, although I believe that is something you can do now, which is cool. But wait, you say, using an Xbox controller is cheating. You need to use this off of your Apple Watch and only off of your Apple Watch. To which I say, are you insane?
You can play Skyrim on your Apple Watch?
Use an Xbox controller and hopefully at least display Skyrim on the Apple Watch.
I didn't know that.
OneCast, getting Skyrim on the iPad was super duper easy. Now for the hard part, getting it to show up on my watch. Now your first instinct might be to stream the display natively. After all, iOS does let you record the screen. It's not that far of a stretch to figure you could AirPlay it or something to that extent where it could send whatever is on the display live to another output somewhere. Unfortunately, that is not an option here with the Apple Watch. Only very specific approved Apple apps work on the Apple Watch, as in Apple has to approve your app for it, and so that leaves the Apple Watch feeling pretty limited. It is definitely not nearly as robust as
headphones
an Android watch. There's no way for us to really stream the iPad directly to the watch, unfortunately. But what if we could set up a video feed? Maybe I could live stream Skyrim directly from my PC or the iPad to YouTube or something, and then view it on the Apple Watch. Well, unfortunately, this is impossible as well, as Apple does not allow for video playback on the Apple Watch, except for one method. You can send yourself a video on iMessage and view it on the Apple Watch. That is the only way to see video on an Apple Watch, so unfortunately, you can't consume 4K content on your tiny little screen. It's outrageous Apple would do this to us. They should know. We would want to play Skyrim on an Apple Watch.
You can play Skyrim on an Apple Watch.
It's basically Skype, but for Apple, and it's also better than Skype because who uses Skype? Basically, it's video chatting, and so maybe that would work. Well, you actually can FaceTime from your Apple Watch, but it's audio only. Now, inevitably, in a number of years, a camera is going to be added to an Apple Watch, I would imagine. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, and this phone's already got a camera.
And I could definitely see FaceTime video coming to the Apple Watch, but we're not
I'm
there
probably
yet.
thinking
So
if this
unfortunately,
iPhone
FaceTime
5S
won't
was
work in
just a
this
little
scenario.
smaller, I
At
can
this point,
probably
had a brilliant
rig it
idea.
up to be a
I was gonna add
smartwatch
extra
too.
adjectives, but I couldn't think of any. Why don't I just use the camera viewfinder on the Apple Watch to display Skyrim? So if you didn't know, your Apple Watch actually has a camera app that allows you to see what's happening on your phone's camera and take pictures from the watch itself. This is really good for propping up a phone so you can take pictures of a group that involve you or something to that extent. It's a clever idea, and it would make sense to display Skyrim, and sure enough, it absolutely works. The only problem is, well, this is just not ideal at all. Your phone has to be recording Skyrim in order to do this, or it has to be in a position where it can see Skyrim. So why not just look at your phone, or better yet, look at the iPad, or better yet, look at the TV? It doesn't make any sense, and there's no way that this would work remotely. Remotely being, in a different location. Your Apple Watch has to be connected to your phone, which has to be in view of Skyrim. If we had a way we could do this where it would work at a different house or a different location, that would at least be better. Surely there's an app out there that allows you to use an iPhone as a security camera and then stream that to your Apple Watch. That seems like it makes sense, right? So theoretically, you could pop an iPhone up, record your iPad, and then beam it to your watch. Obviously, I didn't know any off the top of my head, so I turned to Google, and I came across this Reddit thread. This guy here was pointed to Cloud Baby Monitor, an app that is meant to stream your baby to your phone, Apple TV, iPad, or even Apple Watch. Bingo! Ladies and gentlemen, we did it. Of course, this app is $5.49 in Canadian pesos, which means I actually have to pay real money in order to
Canadian
do this. I don't know what it is
pesos.
about apps or in-app purchases in general, but even if it's only
Well, actually, me. I do have posts as well, but
I'll also buy like multiple coffees a week. And
I do also have posts as well, but it's not the Canadian, it's actually the Mexican pesos. 50 pesos.
So unfortunately, because this won't stream from the iPad itself, the quality is going to be pretty brutal.
Yeah, maybe I hack it after.
Picture of their screen type brutal. Yeah, well, it's going to be the same thing, but recording live from the screen. So it's not going to be ideal. That being said, it will work.
Just like
That's what we'll do. We should prop up the iPhone XR, record the
some
iPad
other
screen,
pace
and
there.
then be able to view it on our phone and Apple Watch. Now, at this point, you might be wondering why I don't just prop it up and view the TV instead of streaming it to the iPad, but I feel like I'm in too deep at this point, and I may as well just keep doing it on the iPad. So I opened up the app on the XR, and after it asked
some
various
news
permissions, I went
mechanics.
to the baby mode. This opened the camera, so I set up the XR using a
Anyway,
phone
here's the
tripod
iPhone
holder and a
5S.
mini of all things to give it some height, because why not? And bam, we were...
Okay, let's check the camera on here. Sure enough, camera still looks like it's good. Tap to focus. Yeah, I guess you can kind of see that. I guess I was a little too close. Try it again. Guess you can kind of zoom it in too. Okay. Focus. And yep, comes out very clearly. Cinco pesos mexicanos. So yeah, even the camera's phone's still good. Phone camera's still good. Even that. Take a picture there. Make sure it's focused. Sure enough, it comes out clearly. Kind of like you expect off an iPhone. So yeah, even the camera's more better than budget phones. You can flip the camera around. You can see me right there. Yep. And for its iOS, I'm running general information 12.4.4, iOS 12.4.4, iPhone 5S. And if I go here, it's well, you know, there's another update. iOS 12.4.5 is iPhone's actually still getting updates. How nice. And this was actually made in late 2013. So I guess go ahead and install that. Put in my super secret pin. Okay. And I guess go install it. So yeah, this is the iPhone 5S. So my conclusion is the iPhone 5S still good to use in 2020? Well, I'm gonna have to say yes, absolutely. You know, on iOS 12, although this won't get iOS 13. However, I'm sure at least for the next 2 to 3 years, you should at least be able to run the latest version. I would say you should at least be able to run the latest version of any app. On this phone, I'd probably say for at least the next 2 to 3 years. On iOS 12. Before updated apps start to require a newer version. So is this good to use in 2020? So yeah, I can say absolutely yes. My recommendation is that if you are on a budget and you're in the market for a used iPhone, if you're going to buy a used second-hand iPhone right now, I probably wouldn't recommend getting a 5S. I'd probably recommend maybe getting at least a 6S or a 7. However, if you still have the 5S, if you still have the iPhone 5S, then I wouldn't recommend throwing it away or getting rid of it just yet. I'd still hang on to it for at least another year or two before upgrading to something new. Especially since it's still capable of running all all the newest stuff. Although you won't get all the newest features like you would, like say on an iPhone 8 or an iPhone X or 11 or anything like that, but it still does its job as far as modern day browsing and the day-to-day tasks that you do on a smartphone. See it? I'm gonna let this update, and now this is getting iOS 12.4.5. Even close to 7 years, this thing's still getting updates, it seems like. So I'll go ahead and let this update itself. And that's actually one thing I like about this is, it's small size, I can just use it with one hand, with my thumb to touch anywhere around the screen. Mainly like that. Of course, they did make a newer phone like this, the iPhone SE, which looks just like this, but it has more powerful specs. I don't know why Apple no longer makes these anymore. They should. Now it's like they make their phones so giant and huge that you can no longer use it with one hand. But yep, this is the iPhone 5S, and it's updating itself, so good night, y'all.